found us unworthy. These usurpers. For though you have been burned, it only takes a cinder for a phoenix to rise.
Welcome back to CiusP, this is Cypher, and in this video we're gonna be talking about my favorite faction in the Total War Warhammer II, the Dark Elves. I'm gonna try to break it down to the least and show you all the details about it. We're gonna be starting with all the different banners, the faction that you can actually play if you own all the DLCs. We're going to be showing you their starting location, the faction effects, the special mechanic of each faction, if any is applicable, all of the special units, lords, and heroes that you can unlock once you own a specific DLC. We're going to be showing you their economy and how to make the most use of it for sure, and the potential army doom stack that you can build on the campaign map. Starting with the 6 banners of the 6th playable faction in the Total War Warhammer II, starting from oldest to newest, Cult of Pleasure led by Morathi, Naggarond led by Malekith, Har Ganeth led by Kron Helebron, the Blessed Dread led by Lohir Felhart, Hag Graef led by Malus Darkblade, and lastly the Thousand Maws led by Rakoth. Now those factions are classified as base game factions, so once you own the Total War Warhammer 2 you're going to be able to play them right away. Free factions that are not directly unlocked, but you can unlock them by simply going to your Steam library and add them to the library itself. Then you can be playing them on the campaign map. And lastly, the paid DLC with the beefiest adds to the faction and that make the faction the badass, as badass as it can get. Now that being said, let's go to the selection screen and show you the details there. Now here we are at the selection screen with all 6 different factions to select from. And we're gonna start with Naggarond, led by the Tz'arkan himself, Malekith. Starting with the faction effects and the Lord effect. Now, as you can see here, it shows in red that Malekith give a percentage of his XP to other lords. This could be bad if a lord surpasses Malekith in level. So you need to be careful where you're sending lords and how you're leveling them up, but you don't need to worry because you have banners and you have a hero that will adjust the loyalty of the lords. Moreover, this is actually good because sometimes you're gonna be sending Malekith to deal with enemies aboard, maybe capturing states, and you have some lords that are not moving, trying to deal with revolts, or maybe you are waiting for an army to come by and deal with it. So even these guys will be able to level up if they are in this faction, because it's going to be giving them some XP. Now that being said, let's jump and show you their starting location on the Vortex map. This is a Naggarond starting location on the Eye of the Vortex map. As you can see, we have Naggarond province. It is 3 different settlements, unlike the Mortal Empire. The difference is your starting location is very easy. You don't have much danger around you, and you can build up real quick. Even in the late campaign, well, you are going to be dealing with the ritual, so you have no clue where chaos will show up. Other than that, the campaign should be fairly straightforward. Now let's show you how they do on the Mortal Empire map. Now here we are on the Mortal Empire map. Again, as you can see, we start in Naggarond, Iron Mountain province. This time we have 4 different settlements, which is great for slave economy. You might want to start to build your slave economy really early on, especially since you're fighting Skaven, so you can get a lot of slaves. You don't have that much danger around you. You can either decide that you want to build some good relation with the surrounding or just conquer them most likely you're going to be ending up conquering them. Just keep in mind that you do not want her dead. You actually want her to form a confederation with you. That being said, you also need to keep in mind that after the update, Chaos Invasion will come from the side of the map as well. This is somewhat tricky because they will keep on showing up until Archaon is dead. So you might want to keep a Lord around to deal with that once they say Chaos stirs, or once you're close to turn 100, I believe. Now that being said, let's go to the other faction and show you their starting location. Now here we are with the next faction, the Blessed Dread. It's an FLC faction that got released alongside the Vampire Coast DLC. Showing you their faction effects and the Lord effects. Now let's go to their starting position at the Eye of the Vortex map. Here we are at the Eye of the Vortex map. As you can see, we start in Chupayol. Maybe I mispronounced it. It's a 3 settlement province, and as you can see, we're gonna be dealing with the rituals, so this campaign is not cool. Let's go to the Moral Empire and show you their starting location there. Now here we are on the Moral Empire map, and we start in the same city. As you can see, the only difference here, we start in a 4 settlement province, and we basically deal with the same enemies. Now, when playing this faction, you're going to be given a special quest that will allow you to confederate with Count Kar. As you can see here, we need to capture 2,500 slaves. You're going to be given a time frame to do that, and once fulfilled, you will be able to get the confederation. Now, the cool thing about that is you do need Count Kar to get this blade, so try not to confederate before getting this unique quest. To get the blade as well. That being said, let's show you what will pop up once you reach the limit. So as you can see, we reached the 2,500 limit, and Count Kar gave us the right to confederate, and we are going to be doing that. Now you can take the money if you want, but you don't need money. You're playing Dark Elf, you have a ton of cash. So we're going to get the city, and there you go, another city there, complete province, as you can see. Now one more thing about this faction, which is not like the rest of the Dark Elf, is whenever you control a major port, you're gonna be able to recruit one of the Black Arcs. So maybe next turn they will allow me to recruit one, and yeah, it's not like you need to do what is it, a right to do to get an arc. The special right will be extra movement range instead, and more growth for the arc. Another FLC faction that was released lastly for this race, the Thousand Maws, and this faction heavily emphasizes usage of monster units. Now let's start with the faction effects and the Lord effects. That being shown, let's go to the Eye of the Vortex map and show you their starting location. So starting location on the Eye of the Vortex map, as you can see, we start in Albion. We do have these two yeah, I haven't played them on the Eye of the Vortex, so that's decent. Anyways, you have the settlement, and the bad thing is, again, you're gonna be dealing with the ritual. So again, if you don't like the ritual, this might not be a campaign that you're gonna be enjoying. So let's go to the Moral Empire. And here we are on the Moral Empire map. As you can see, we start in the same state, Albion. This time, however, everything is closer. And yeah, you need to control this to get that. Yeah, that's what I was looking at, the Eye of the Vortex. Now let's show you a bit more details about this faction. Now, just talk a bit more about this faction. You're going to be given the same opportunity as given for Lokir Felhar. Really early on in the campaign, you're going to be given a quest, and once fulfilled, you're going to be given the opportunity to confederate with current car. I have it here. Or you can just get the money and the better relations. Now, the other thing is, I'm going to recruit a lord just to show you. Recruit. The other thing will be the monster pen. So as you can see here, you have a bunch of monster units that you can instantaneously recruit once you feel that you really need that. And this is super efficient and super powerful mechanic for this faction, because sometimes you really need to have a lord somewhere on the campaign map to deal with another lord that is coming towards you, and it could be dangerous to deal with. So for example here, maybe I should have recruited her there. So as you can see, this mechanic will give you the capability to recruit real powerful units instantaneously, and to know what to do or how to get these units. For example, where's this guy? You just need to raise or sack Northskin settlements, so all monster units will be shown how to get. That is really great, especially knowing that this faction is an FLC faction. Now, one thing that you need to put into consideration is that if you want to recruit monster units, especially from the pen, and to be more precise, monster units that you cannot boost as Dark Elves, so units that are not in the Dark Elven roster, it's better to recruit them under a High Beastmaster, for a simple reason is that the High Beastmaster give any monster unit +8 melee defense. Now that being said, I hope this gave you slight information about this faction, and let's go to the following one. Now, starting with the first DLC for the Dark Elves, Har Ganeth, led by the Kron Halbron. And this race actually, or this faction actually, has a special mechanic that we're going to be showing you in the game that gives this faction an edge actually on the campaign map and in battles. It makes it really great and powerful, but this is not the most important DLC, and if you only want to get one, then you should not start with this one. Again, later in the video we'll be discussing why, but now let's show you the faction effects and the lord effects that be shown. Now let's jump on the Eye of the Vortex map and show you their southern location. Now here we are on the Eye of the Vortex map, starting in the Har Ganeth city. This city is really good because it has 2 landmarks, and it has 4 settlements, so it's really valuable when it comes to slave economy. The landmarks just show you what they do: public order, income from all buildings, upkeep, production, and the other one is this. So both of them are really great. Now you're gonna be also dealing with the ritual, so yeah, this campaign kind of sucks. That being said, let's go to the Moral Empire map. Moral Empire starting location for Har Ganeth faction, same state for settlements, so same potential for building slave economy. The only downside is it's really condensed, so it's not as cool as the Eye of the Vortex. That being said, let's start talking more details about this faction. And see, we start with this icon over here. It's a Blood Voyage spawning thing, so you do the Death Knight ritual and an army will spawn, like this one. Now at first the army is, you cannot control it, it will just come here to take over the Shrine of Cain, but later on in the campaign the army will be under your control, so it will be completely new army that you will decide what to do with it, which is great. Now the bonuses are as follow. If you are at the highest rank, you're gonna get all of that reduced, and guess what? If you conquer Gain Vale and the ancient city, you will no longer have penalties. So even if you do not want to do any rituals anymore, you're gonna stick with the minimum over there of +2 public order. So at some point of the campaign, this faction will be all green. It will give you all the positive effects. It will become super strong, and yeah, you might enjoy it the most if you are one of the guys that want to play safe when playing Dark Elves, because you get the extra public order and whatever. Now, just one more thing before going to the other factions. Or before showing you what this faction gives in terms of units and lords. After the latest update, chaos will come from the north here, so if you're playing on legendary difficulties for chaos invasion, this might make your campaign horrible. So yeah, you might want to take this into consideration, and this might really affect the way you're gonna be playing this faction, because you might end up in a horrible situation, especially if you're focusing your economy in Har Ganeth the way that I'm doing right now. Now that being said, let's show you the special units that you're gonna get once you own this DLC. And first, you're gonna be having the Sisters of Slaughter. They are extremely powerful unit. As you can see, base level 57 melee defense. They are super strong in melee combat, and they do have a poisonous attack, so the enemies will be in a desperate situation once they get in melee with them. The other unit you're gonna be getting is the Doomfire Warlocks. They are good for flankings, and they have 2 spells that are bound, so you can cast them without using any Winds of Magic. And lastly, we're gonna be having this Cabradis, whatever it's called. It's a really strong unit against large. I, however, don't recruit a bunch of them because I prefer the Hydra. It's more well balanced and it heals. And lastly, you're gonna be getting something that's really great, and it's Supreme Sorceresses. As you can see, we have 5 different lore of magic, and they are super great, super strong. In the early game they are weak because, well, they are low level, they don't have the dragon, they don't have the spells, but once they level up they're gonna be great for you. As you can see, I have maybe 2 of them or 1, let me just check. So I have her, and I have the one that I just got from the Blood Voyage. Now we're gonna be going to the other factions and show you all about their traits, so let's keep going. And now with the second DLC faction, Hag Graef, led by Malice Darkblade. This is the latest DLC for this race, and it's the most important DLC that you must get if you really want to enjoy this race, the Dark Elves, and get the most out of it. I'm gonna be showing you more details about why this is the most important one and that you must have it. But first, let's show you the faction effects and the lord effects. And now let's go to their starting location on the Eye of the Vortex map. Now with Hag Graef's starting location on the Eye of the Vortex, which is much cooler than the Moral Empire, and in fact, if you want to play this faction, I'd rather be playing it on the Eye of the Vortex for a simple reason is the sea here is open and I can go wherever I want with the starting black arc that I have, and moreover you do not need to deal with the frickin' ritual. Those are just needed to be sent to Malekith, so yeah, you don't need to deal with the ritual. That being said, let's show you their starting location on the Moral Empire and show you why this faction is the most important to get. And here we are on the Moral Empire map. As you can see, we start in a completely different location. The sea is blocked, so this will be useless after maybe 20 turns. Yep. And you're gonna be dealing with a completely different enemy. You do not need to send anything to Malekith. However, you're gonna be giving other quests to get the elixir. I believe once you reach 10 provinces, you're gonna be given the elixir for free. So you can either decide that you want complete possession, or you just do not want Tz'arkan at all. If you disband Tz'arkan, this will be good for your campaign, but this lord will become some kind of generic lord, and yeah. Now let's go into more details about this faction and show you all the things that have been added, all the goodies. Now let's give you a bit more details about this faction. Yeah, just before I forget, this faction will give you the opportunity, unlike what was their name, the Thousand Maws and the Blessed Dread, they will give you the opportunity to either keep Hag Graef or to give it back. Now I'd rather be keeping it, because this state is a 4 province state, which means you can start building your slave economy really early on in the campaign. And as you can see here, you're gonna be given some quests that once fulfilled will give you some bonuses. Now let's show you what is given to you once you own this DLC. So to start with, you have this Scourge Runner chariot. You're gonna be given my favorite Medusa. I love Medusas. I recruit them basically in every single army mostly. And the special Medusa on Shrine. Now this is I don't recruit them that much. I prefer this one. And lastly, you're gonna be given the opportunity to recruit masters. Now these guys are vital when playing this faction. They are the most important, and they are the reason that makes this DLC the most important. I'm gonna be showing you why once we reach the economy of this faction. Now that being said, yeah, and just as you can see here, I can just have the elixir as much as I want for free because I own the number of provinces required. So whenever I want, I can just have it. This will allow me to get this right, which will spawn a army full of monster troops. Lastly, I want to be talking about the Cult of Pleasure led by the Queen Morathi herself. The most powerful lord in the game in my opinion, and I'm going to be showing you why later in the video. This faction plays slightly differently than the rest of the Dark Elven faction. This faction actually could benefit a lot once the Total War Warhammer 3 releases, since they can have some kind of special bonds with one of the Chaos Gods. And moreover, despite the fact that this faction is considered really hard early on in the Total War Warhammer 2, but mid to late game this faction is much better than the rest of the other factions. I'm gonna be showing you also why, but first, before going into more details, let's look at the faction effects. This is really important. And lastly, the Lord effects. That being said, let's go and show you their starting location on the Eye of the Vortex map. Cults of Pleasure starting location on the Eye of the Vortex, as you can see in the Ancient City. Now the Ancient City, or the Iron Peaks, has only 3 settlements, so it's not really that valuable for a slave economy. However, the map is a much cooler. Yeah, so let's go to their starting location on the Moral Empire now. And here we are on the Moral Empire map. As you can see, the Ancient City has 4 different settlements for the Titan Peak. it can be considered a great place to start with your slave economy. And let's talk more details about this faction now, and we're gonna be addressing all the different stuff for the Dark Elves in general, whether it's economy or army building. So let's go in deeper. Now let's talk more details about this faction. As you know by now, this faction has the Chaos Corruption, and yeah. The starting location, I've read that it's one of the harder ones, so in the early campaign many of you will not like this faction, but believe me or not, it's not as hard as you think. And moreover, Dark Elves are really great in the early game, mid game, and late game. Now this faction in precise mid to late game is kinda better than any other Dark Elven faction, for the simple reason that chaos will show up, and this chaos corruption will increase on all the world map. So as you can see, even here we have chaos corruption. Everywhere we have chaos corruption, so whenever you conquer a place you're gonna benefit from that, and this will stabilize your public order. Now more things about this faction. I believe this faction can benefit a lot from the Total War Warhammer 3. Now Morathi, I've seen that she has some kind of other transformation or whatever. She has to do with the Chaos Gods, so they can either make you decide in the Total War Warhammer 3 whether you want to fully abide by the Chaos God that has to do with her desire, which is you know, the cult of pleasure, and become more affected by the Chaos Gods, or maybe you just want to follow the order and go back and instead of spreading corruption, spread untainted in her land. So this can be done for this faction precisely when Total War Warhammer 3 comes, and she can get even more units from the Chaos roster. Now I left this faction for last for another reason. Is I've read that if you own the Sword of Cain, you will not be able to maintain public order in your provinces, and especially talking about provinces that has the slave economy. Well, that's not true. For instance, Ivres is a province, as you can see here. Where is it? Capacity. So Ivres 100%, 0% decline rate. I have full slave economy here, minus 14, yet as you can see I'm at 97 plus 2, so my public order will become 100. This makes me talk about the most valuable DLC, which gives you this guy. Now this guy is the most important unit in the game for the Dark Elves. This guy has this, which is plus 2 public order in local province and slave decline rate minus 10. So this guy will prevent your slave from declining. Not to mention, I am not using any banner now. You can have a banner. Where is it? This one. You can spam it. This will give you more money from slave, plus 5%. So I believe at some point this faction might be even better than the High Elf when it comes to economy. For instance, I'm making 79 grand in this state alone. I can make even more by spamming more of this guy, because simply this guy will give us more income from slave, and by also spamming the banner as well, which gonna increase the income from all buildings, and banner on this guy, which is gonna increase the income from slave economy. Now even let's say you were unable to maintain public order or whatever, you can simply recruit one of these heroes and give her a banner that will increase the public order, just in case you don't want to. you're not gonna be using this hero a lot, because you only need one per army, and as you can see, you're gonna be having a ton of them because you simply are gonna be building this, and more of them will be disponible or available to be recruited. My economy is 91 grand. I have many armies, as you can see here. I have 13 armies. Dark Elves are super strong. I cannot tell you how strong they are, how easy they are to play. For sure they are easy once you know what you're doing. If you don't know anything about slave economy, or if you do not own this guy's DLC, they are, I'm not gonna say rubbish, but let's say their economy now is 10 out of 10. It's become maybe 6 to 7 because the economy will not stabilize whatsoever. You cannot maintain 100% as I'm doing right now with the capacity. It will decline to 50% real quick, so this will not be helping you a lot. Now let's sum it up a bit about the Dark Elven economy. Same as many other factions, Dark Elf can make money from trade. As you can see here, I'm making about 7,000 from trading with Naggarond. I'm not able to do any kind of other trade because, well, there's not many factions that will accept trade with you, since most factions that trade are forces of order. You can play the card of, especially when playing this faction for sure, of improving relation with Norskin and try to build trade with them for sure, but again, Norskin are not really that powerful faction, so they might end up being torn apart really early on in the campaign. As for improving the Beastmen, this will be good, especially once the next DLC shows up, because I believe Beastmen will become much stronger, so you can use this to push them to do your bidding. Now the other way to make money is to simply build, I'm trying to build this settlement that I just got, so you simply build these buildings in wherever a province that has less than 4 settlements, or a province, even if it has 4 settlements, you do not really want to build a slave economy with. So this will improve your building, your economy as well. And lastly, the slave economy, which is the backbone of your economy. To build good slave economy, you need to have a couple things. First, try to get all buildings slots related to slave economy. As you can see here in Evress, I have income from slave pens. You have to build them everywhere. Then I add this, the Black Rose, because it adds income or from the slave pens. And when I'm building in the main settlement, I try to build most of the things related to slave economy and to public order, as you can see here, or maybe to have better more heroes, for example, like here. Moreover, in a slave economy based state, you need to get this hero because he will increase your slave economy, and try to get banners that will improve your economy, whether it's trade, faction wide, income from building. On this guy, you must get in fact this guy because of this trait, and also try to get some more banners that will improve economy faction wide, especially from where is it, this one, slave pens. And lastly, you might want to get again the hero to improve the public order, which is this one, and give her a banner to get the public order, just in case you were unable to maintain it by buildings or hero present. I really hope that was clear about the economy. Now talking a bit about army and how it and how to make armies. The way that I love to make my armies: couple flying troops, sorceress, these guys. I love this guy with Morathi. I love to have a couple of these Medusas, and the most valuable unit is the Hydra. You can also have another type of armies when it comes to Dark Elves. You can have this kind of army. just units in front to have the meat shield to prevent anyone from flanking you, and a bunch of these guys. As you can see, I have 215 range on them. I believe we can have even more. Let me just try to find another one. Yeah, as you can see here, we are 221. Try to have... I'm just trying to find, I believe we can even have more. But anyways, you got the point. You can have a bunch of range troops. So they are the second highest range, just after the Way Watchers. So this faction is really great in economy and in armies. I really love them the most. And yeah, just one more thing before I sum it up. Why do I think that Morathi is the strongest legendary lord? Well, that's simple. I have a video that I'm gonna be placing in the description below, which shows that I took out a full sack army with a garrison using Morathi alone, and she was at full health. Now, how can she do that? You have 65 ward save, you have 30% physical resistance, so you have 95 physical resistance. The limit is 90, so you reach the limit with the physical resistance. You have over 100 magical resistance, which is gonna give you the 90 limit. You have a not bad armor. She's super fast on her flying mount, so you can decide whether you want her to engage in a specific location or no. She has plenty of spells. Now, you do need to get this and that if you want to get a sword on her. And yeah, so she has this spell. Where is it? No, this spell, which is gonna give her healing just in case you want to. You have this spell, which is really great against infantry. You have the sword vortex spell, which is super strong against infantry. And moreover, I also have this by owning this, which is gonna give us 2 dwellers below, which is one of the most powerful units or spells against infantry troops. And just to show you what I'm using to make her that badass. And lastly, she is also anti-large. So let's say they decide to send a monster unit against you, or a hero on a monster, whatever, they're gonna get their ass kicked real easy, because she's super strong against monster as well. And just to show you that the Sword of Cain is thriving, it's gonna be dominating, and she's gonna become even stronger. Lastly, there's one more thing that make this faction slightly better than the rest of the Dark Elves. Maybe you don't pay attention to it, maybe now you will know about it. And this is basically this commandment. As you can see here, this commandment will improve the Wind of Magic power reserve by +2. So unlike other factions, for example the Wood Elves, you can spam a hero or a lord, sorry, that will increase your Winds of Magic by +5. You might be able to recruit one every turn. The Dark Elf, however, have a commandment that will do this for you, so +2. You're not gonna be cheesing it or anything. It is a built-in thing, so wherever you want, you can just have it, and your Winds of Magic will improve. And as you can see here, for example, on Morathi, I have 261. That's plenty of Winds of Magic to do so many spells during a battle and win it really easily. Lastly, I would like to thank you all for sticking around, watching the video, leaving interaction, whether it is a like or dislike. All of that is helping the channel a lot. Special thanks for people that are already subscribers, and for people that are leaving comments below. Those comments are really helpful. They give us hints about what you like to see in the future. They let us know whether you are enjoying the content or no. All of that is really great. Cannot thank you enough for that. As for this video, I really hope that met your expectation. I would like to know whether you knew all the details that you want to know about the Dark Elf, their economy, armies, and I really hope that I explained and showed you all the differences about the factions, and especially the DLC factions, such that it helps you make up your mind whether you want to buy one or the other, or maybe both of them. This is me, Cypher. Thank you again, guys, for watching, and see you on the next one.
Of your pain, Malison, not your soul, belongs